Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative. I now recognize Mr. Rowe for his 5-minute opening remarks. Director, I think we've talked about this. We're going to be flexible on the time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Chairman Kelly, Ranking Member Crowe, and distinguished members of the task force. I appreciate the efforts of this task force, and I thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. July 13th was a failure of the Secret Service to adequately secure the Butler Farm Show site and protect President-elect Trump. That abject failure underscored critical gaps in Secret Service operations, and I recognize that we did not meet the expectations of the American public, Congress, and our protectees. And they rightly have that idea based on how we performed. President-elect Trump was wounded. A cowardly and despicable act killed one person and critically injured 2 others. And I join you and all Americans in condemning the horrific assault on President-elect Trump, Corey Comparator, James Copenhaver, and David Dutch. And I extend my deepest sympathies to the Comparator family. Since becoming acting director, I've worked tirelessly to address what I believe are shared goals with the task force, to understand what went wrong on the day of the attempted assassination, to ensure accountability, to prevent such a failure from ever happening again. The recently completed mission assurance inquiry thoroughly investigated the specific actions and inactions that led to the assassination attempt. 4 areas of deficiencies were identified: communications, protective advance processes, command and control processes, and coordination with external entities. The mission assurance inquiry identified failures by multiple employees that warrant disciplinary action. The quality of the advance work and preparation for the Butler Farm Show visit absolutely did not meet the expected standards of this agency. Let me be clear. There will be accountability, and that accountability is occurring. It is an extensive review that requires time to ensure due process. And the pace of this process, quite frankly, it does frustrate me. But it is essential that we recognize the gravity of our failure. I personally carry the weight of knowing that we almost lost a protectee, and our failure cost a father and husband his life. I have reflected extensively on the agency's substandard performance during the advance for the Butler rally. I have implemented numerous systemic and strategic changes to prevent these failures from ever happening again. It has been my singular focus to bring much-needed reform to the Secret Service, to be an agent of change, to challenge previous assumptions, and while doing so, also ensuring that the brave men and women of the Secret Service have the resources, leadership, and assets that they need to be successful in carrying out our protective mission. A full list of actions is itemized in my prepared testimony, but these changes have included providing the highest levels of Secret Service protection to President-elect Trump throughout the remainder of the presidential campaign, expanding the use of unmanned aerial systems for aerial observation at venues, expanding the use of counter-unmanned aerial systems technologies to mitigate the use of a UAS as a kinetic attack vector, expanding the use of ballistic countermeasures at Secret Service protected campaign sites, a directive to mandate unified command in a singular location for all protective sites, something that was not done on 13th in Butler. We are operating in a heightened threat environment with expanding protection requirements, and this requires a shift in the Secret Service's levels of protection, readiness, and sustainability. The paradigm shift focuses on elevating protection, prioritizing training, strengthening our workforce, and increasing accountability. The elevation of protective operations ties directly to how performed by special agents in the field directly relates to our protective mission. The field offices serve a critical role in everything we do operationally, to include protection, protective intelligence investigations, and enforcement operations, among many other important responsibilities. Recognizing how operationally integrated that field offices are, I'm directing an organizational change to shift the Office of Investigations to the Office of Field Operations. This is not simply a semantic change. Establishing the Office of Field Operations is an opportunity to reset our thinking and perspective about the role field offices play in protection, and to enhance our operational effectiveness by better leveraging field offices to support, enable, and inform protection and protective activities. It is also my intention to reconstitute the Secret Service's culture such that training is routine and expected. That was how it was done when I was operational in the Presidential Division. And somehow along the way, we became disproportionately operational in comparison to time allocated for training. As I have publicly stated, the Secret Service historically has had to manage its operations by doing more with less. That is not consistent with achieving a no-fail mission. And since becoming acting director, I've made it my priority to eliminate the do more with less mindset, which has had a long-term degrading effect on our workforce and our protective operations. The Secret Service is making progress on this thanks to Congress. The continuing resolution, which was passed in September, appropriated additional funding to the Secret Service in FY 2025 to support immediate requirements associated with protective operations. I greatly appreciate the efforts of Congress and numerous staff members in making that supplemental a reality. The world is a dangerous place. The responsibilities of the Secret Service are critical to the national security of the United States. It is important that decision makers fully recognize and appreciate the vital role and significance of the Secret Service in our nation's security. The terrorist, the nation-state actor, the sniper, the lone wolf gunman, they must be lucky once. But the men and women of the Secret Service must be perfect every time. That may not be fair, but that's the world in which we operate in. Thankfully, Congress has responded to the immediate challenges facing the Secret Service, and for that we are grateful. Our agency is not defined by one failure, but by our ability to learn from mistakes, to hold ourselves accountable, then learn, evolve, and continue striving for excellence. After the failure of July 13th, the dedicated men and women of the Secret Service rose to the occasion. In the face of immense pressure and adversity, they answered a call to duty with unwavering resolve. And I want to express my gratitude for the extraordinary dedication and hard work of our special agents, uniformed division officers, mission support personnel. They all persevered when the demands of the mission surpassed anything they or their families have ever been asked to take on. Their commitment to the mission, even under such challenging circumstances, is nothing short of inspiring. I am truly honored to serve alongside such a remarkable group of individuals. Mr. Chairman, I will submit the remainder of my statement for the record, and I look forward to answering the questions of this committee. Thank you.